Okay, so hello everyone. Today we'll be talking for some free alternatives to the Adobe software, because when you're a beginner you don't need to pay so much money to a software that you might don't even like doing. I will be talking for every Adobe software on the Creative Cloud, and I will explain what it does, and I'll be saying some free alternatives. Okay, so first let's get started with Photoshop. It's the most. Okay, so let's get started with Photoshop. It's the best image manipulating software and for digital drawing sometimes. And yeah, you can edit some photos, color correcting, or even digital drawing. So first, for image manipulating or image editing, the alternative is GIMP. It's free and open source, and you can do all of the basic stuff that you need, even some advanced stuff. And yeah, now for digital drawing, I recommend Krita. It's the one I personally use. I use it for game development. It's amazing. You can even do some basic vector art, and yeah, it has all of the features you need and pretty advanced stuff. Even more features than Photoshop has for digital drawing. Not image manipulating. Okay, so that's what I have to say for Photoshop. Now for Adobe Illustrator. What Adobe Illustrator is for vector art. Vector art is with shapes and the... Okay, so now let's talk about Adobe Illustrator. What Adobe Illustrator is a software that you can do some vector art. And what vector art is that you sometimes when you zoom into a PNG you see those pixels, and it's really bad because the resolution isn't good. But with vector art, when you zoom in, you never see pixels. It's always so crispy, and what they do is something with math, I don't really know. But what I know is that Inkscape is a free alternative. I don't really use Inkscape. I've used it once, but I do the basics vector art in Krita because I don't really do vector art. So yeah, if you want to get into vector art, download Inkscape. It's free, and you can do some advanced stuff there. I'm just not good. There are tons of tutorials. Oh yeah, and I'll put some tutorials in the description so you can get started into all of those software that I will be mentioning in this video. So that's all I have to say for Adobe Illustrator. Now for Acrobat DC, it's what Acrobat DC does is for making PDFs and reading PDFs. And the alternative I have is WPS Office. It's not completely free, but the most features are free. Some really advanced and details are paid. And WPS Office isn't only for PDF. It's for Microsoft 362 like Word, PDF, PowerPoint, Excel. You can do those stuff there, but it has a PDF which is really powerful. That's what I personally use. Okay, so that's what I have to say for Acrobat DC. Now for InDesign. What InDesign is to make some newspapers, And yeah, newspapers, books, and you type text, you can put images, something like PDF. I haven't used it. I haven't used InDesign personally because I don't want to make any newspapers or books. But what I've heard, Scribus is a free alternative to InDesign, and it's amazing of what I've heard. And that's all I have to say for InDesign. Now for Adobe Lightroom. What Lightroom does is applying filters to an image, like the ones you see on your phone, the pre-made ones. But with Lightroom you can customize those filters, like add your own filters, not the pre-made that you have on your phone. So a free alternative is Darktable. It's really good and it has some advanced features like Lightroom has. Again, I haven't personally used it because I'm not a photographer, and for photographers I'm not a photographer, but what I've heard, it's really cool, and I might use it for some thumbnails for my games and for some videos. And what I have to say for Lightroom is that you can go to where you can test it from the web, Lightroom launch, and you have it on your web browser, and it's Lightroom. I don't know what's the difference between the paid Lightroom and the web one, because I haven't used Lightroom. But all I know is that you can use the free version through your web browser. Okay, so now let's talk about Premiere Pro. What Premiere Pro does is you can do some video editing, some really advanced video editing. The most YouTubers you're watching use Premiere Pro because it's the best video editor you can find, but it can be really expensive. It's $20 per month, and that's pretty expensive if you ask me. So a free alternative I have is DaVinci Resolve. It's really powerful, and it's free. I wonder how it's free because I have used it, but I'll tell you in a minute why I'm not using it anymore. And it has better color correcting than Premiere Pro, and it's free. Really, you can do really advanced videos in here. Even some big studios have made movies using DaVinci Resolve, so that's pretty cool. And now why I'm not using DaVinci Resolve is because it needs a really good computer, which I don't have. When I'm trying to trim a video, my PC starts doing random, starts overclocking, like it can go up to 80% CPU if I move the timeline. So that's a con from DaVinci Resolve, but I think Premiere Pro is the same thing. It needs a powerful computer. Okay, so that's it for Premiere Pro. Now for Premiere Rush. What Premiere Rush is, it's a video editor again, but the difference between Premiere Pro and Premiere Rush is that Premiere Rush is really for basic stuff, like trim, add some transitions to your video, and yeah, that's basically it. Not something not like movies that you do in Premiere Pro. Premiere Rush is mostly for some for Instagram and stuff. A free alternative I have is Filmforth. It's only for Windows, but macOS has iMovie, which is the same thing and a bit better. And for Linux, I don't have an alternative, I'm sorry. With Filmforth, you can even do some green screen stuff, which Premiere Rush doesn't have because I personally used it before. It says install, but it's not actually free. You can do only 3 exports and then you have to pay for it. Filmforth is free and has everything that Premiere Rush has, and even some more features. Yeah, that's all I have to say for Premiere Rush. Now for Adobe Fresco. What Adobe Fresco is a painting program for the iPad or even for PC. The free alternative I have is Medibank Paint Pro. It's for manga and comics. You can make some comics and manga. It's for Android, iPad, iPhone, for everywhere except Linux, I think, or is it for Linux? I don't think so. You can use Adobe Fresco for free, I think. Yeah, as you can see, it's free and there's no limitation. You can always use it for free. But if you pay, you can download Photoshop for the iPad. But of what I've heard, of what I've seen, it takes a lot of hate. A lot of people say that it's really bad, or the iPad Photoshop. Okay, so that's it for Adobe Fresco. Now for Adobe After Effects. What After Effects is, it's for making visual effects, like in movies. If you see something that it isn't real in movies, like some lightning, or when people fly, it's made on After Effects or a visual effects program. Yeah, you add fake stuff like a lightning or people will fly and stuff. A free alternative I have is Blender. You mostly know it for 3D modeling, but as you can see, you can do visual effects. The con for Blender is that it's really, really hard to learn. I'm using Blender for simple 3D modeling, and I'm using only some really, really basic tools. I'm not using it for visual effects. I tried once and it's really cool. I can't make really cool stuff because I don't know how to make visual effects. Not because Blender is not cool. Yeah, that's what I have to say for After Effects. Now let's go to Adobe Lightroom Classic. Lightroom Classic, it's the same thing as Lightroom. I don't know the difference between Lightroom Classic and Lightroom Original, but you can use Darktable. I don't think that it has a really big difference between them. So yeah, use Darktable or the free web thing. Now for Aero. What Aero is, it's AR, interactive experience. What it means is that you take your phone and you take a video of your table, for example, and you can put some fake stuff to it, like you can put a dragon on top of your table, or on top of your hand you can put a stick figure like dancing or something. Yeah, you can add fake stuff into reality. And a free alternative I have is Blender again. You can use it for this stuff. I don't know how to do it, but there's a smarter people that have done it, and I've watched some videos that they have done it. So yeah, it's possible. And if you don't want to use Blender, you can use Aero. It's free. Okay, so now for Dreamweaver. The free alternative I have is Blue Griffin, and what they do is you have an HTML file, you open it on Blue Griffin, and you can see a live preview of the website that you have written in HTML. HTML is a programming language, and you can do websites with HTML. But the pro of using Blue Griffin or Dreamweaver is that you can move text with a transform tool, not directly from HTML. And that's the pro of using Blue Griffin instead of Visual Studio Code or any other scripting program, code editor. And yeah, that's it for Dreamweaver and Blue Griffin. Okay, so now for Audition. What Audition is, it's for recording audio, and you can do really advanced editing of the audio you just recorded. The free alternative I have is Audacity. It's what I personally use for recording audio like I'm doing right now. Actually, I'm recording through OBS right now, but if I read the script for a video, I'm using Audacity. And then you can export it as a WAV file or MP3, and you can import it on a video editor like DaVinci Resolve and make a YouTube video or a movie. You can use Ocean Audio if you can't use Audacity. It's really advanced for you and you don't need all of these features, but I recommend Audacity. Okay, so now let's go for Substance 3D Painter. What you can do in Substance 3D Painter is you can paint on top of your 3D objects. Like you made something in Blender, then you can import it on Substance 3D Painter and paint with some textures on top of it, and make it look more real. The alternative I have is Mixer. It's 100% free and it's easy to learn. You can paint on top of your 3D models, as you can see here. Look how amazing they do it. It's like they make it real. They make the object in Blender and they paint on top of it. Like imagine this vase to be. Let me take a screenshot of this. Not this. Imagine that this is all gray. You make it as an object in Blender and it's gray, and then you import it in Mixer and you paint on top of it. Like you make this flower on all of this detail and that copper, like make it seem old, and you can go really advanced with it and make something amazing. Okay, that's it for Substance 3D Painter. Now for Substance 3D Sampler. What that is You take a picture of paper and you import it on Substance 3D sampler, and it makes it a texture. What I mean by that is, you can see here again on this picture, how they've done this copper, how they painted it with the copper and make it so looking so good and realistic, is they took a picture of real copper and then imported into Substance 3D sampler, and then painted with it on Substance 3D painter or mixer. And you can do that in mixer, and yeah, you can do that in mixer. You can even paint in it, and yeah. Now with Substance 3D Designer, what it is you make the 3D models, and mostly you make some nodes, like make textures with it. Like you can add noise into a texture, you add colors, and you make really cool textures, but not as explained previously. Now you make it digitally with nodes. You'll see on your screen an example, and an alternative to it is Blender again. It's really cool. You can do even 3D modeling, sculpting, digital sculpting, visual effects, animation, 2D drawing, even video editing, and yeah, you can do nodes too, like make textures and apply it into the 3D models you made in the 3D modeling page on Blender. And now for Substance 3D Stager, it is for posing your models and then taking a cool picture, a good picture of your 3D models with lighting, and then you render it as a PNG and share it to your friends or any social media to and the free alternative is Blender. You can do that in Blender too. Yeah, if you download Blender, you have downloaded half of the Adobe suite. So go download Blender. It's like 500 megabytes. It's really small it's really light. Okay, so that's it for the substances. And now for InCopy. InCopy is the same thing as InDesign. And I think on InCopy you just make the text and just polish it. Yeah, that's what you do in InCopy. So an alternative is Scribus again. It's the same as InDesign. And yeah, that's it. For Adobe Prelude, an alternative I have is lossless cut. On Prelude, what you do is you make transitions and some rough cuts and really simple video editing. Yeah, free alternative is lossless cut. Okay, so that's for Adobe Prelude. Now an alternative to Adobe Animate is the Week Editor. You can just launch it on the web. I have done some really cool animations in it. Not really cool, they suck, but I'm proud of it. I'm proud of them, okay? Yeah, there's one of them. It's Unity playing basketball and it loops. There's a guy throwing a sword and it comes back to him. And there's that, someone throws a rock at him and he falls down. And there's this stickman fighting with this thing the box players play. I can go really advanced with it, but that's the only thing I can do. Like make a simple stickman and then you can just make a new animation. You can even enable onion skin. And you just made the simple animation. You can go really complex with it, but that's only what I can do. I can make some simple stickman animations. Now for Adobe Media Encoder, the alternative I have is Handbrake. What it does is you can convert video files, like from MKV. You can convert from an MKV. You can convert it into an MP4. And if you ask why can't I do it in a random website that I find, well, that's it, because the resolution will be really bad if you do it with a random website that you will find on the internet. What Media Encoder does is something else that it does is that you can export from Adobe Animate, for example, into an MP4. It helps Animate to export it. But if you buy Animate, you take Media Encoder for free, so there's that. Okay, so let's talk about Character Animator that I didn't talk about previously. Character Animator is for animating characters. The alternative I have is Synfig Studio. You can animate characters with bones, like you can rotate the bone of a character you have and the head will rotate too. That's what Character Animator does. And one more thing that I want to talk about is on the web page, Adobe Stock. The alternative I have is free stock photos, pexels.com and unsplash.com. I take some images from there and it's really cool. It's free and no copyright, of course. Yeah. Okay, I think we are done. I don't have anything to talk about anymore. We covered all Adobe apps. If you have any paid program that you want a free alternative to, just tell me in the comments and I'll respond as fast as I can. And also a massive shout out to Alternative 2 website. You can just type Photoshop and it will throw a bunch of free alternatives to it. I didn't use this website for all the programs, but but yeah, I've used a lot of programs that this website told me. Okay, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Today's video and you found some free alternatives that you can replace the cracked Photoshop on your taskbar. And thanks for watching. I have worked on For You, the game I'm working on. You can follow me by subscribing and yeah, share it with your friend.